Welcome to episode 36, everybody. We have some baseball and hockey trade drama to break down today. We also have some NFL to discuss as we move on to the AFC with the New York Jets up first. Zach and Colin are here, and I'm AJ for anyone new watching. Zach, you want to get us started with our Did You See It or anything that's going on in your life?
God, did you see it? Okay, I do have a Did You See It? I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I sent this to Kaylee like a while ago, and I just saw it because I was like looking last night for Did You See It? And it's super cool. So in Arizona at a lake, they have like an obstacle course, like an inflatable obstacle course on this lake that's like floating on this lake. And like I think it's only open for like a couple weeks or like a month, but it looks like Wipeout in person. And I would love to go do that.
Yeah.
It looks so fun.
I've always
watched
wondered,
like a video and there's people like kids, people, you have like life jackets, obviously, so you don't drown and die, but it looks so fun.
Have you guys ever done anything obstacle course like that before?
Nothing big. We had a couple at school, like just little blow up ones.
At a project graduate. Wait, no. Yeah, at middle school we had one, I think. And project graduation, there's like an inflatable like racing obstacle course. I remember doing that and just completely smoking, like diving completely in like a inflated. That kind of hurt, like head first into it.
I will say, like, the people that do that for a living, like the actual or you said Wipeout. I'm picturing, you know what I'm picturing?
Like
I'm
CrossFit.
Like American Ninja Warrior.
I'm picturing American Ninja Warrior.
That's that would be so fun.
Yeah,
I would love
that's
to
what I was
that.
talking about.
I would not get past like the first obstacle.
Because I was about to say those are like some of the best athletes in the world. And then I was thinking Wipeout athletes are usually, I mean, I don't know.
Not at all.
No.
Wipeout low key is pretty hard. Some of them are hard.
Yeah.
Like put an American Ninja Warrior, see if they can get without see if they can get across the red balls.
Yeah. Anything
I will
from you,
say
Colin?
that video game on Wii.
Yeah, I got
highly
one.
recommend.
Okay. So I think I sent you guys this, but they came out with some of the top names the 22 college football season. Just like names, not like biggest players, just the coolest names. So I'll just read some off here. We're gonna start off with General Booty. So 6 foot sophomore from OU. To Coldest Crawford. We got Shitta Silla, Chief Borders, Storm Duck, Buck Coors, Steel Chambers, Kavuzi Smoke.
Do you have the colleges there?
Yeah.
Of where where's Storm Duck from?
Storm Duck. Let me pull this back up. UNC.
Okay. Because did you guys see I didn't want to cut you off, but did you guys see the Oregon football player that passed away? He's like a star tight end. He was supposed to be drafted. Yeah.
Huh.
But don't want to bring down the mood a little bit. But
AJ with the sad.
Back at it. Fish McWilliams.
Fish.
Gonna bring it back up. And then Pig Cage, Boogie Night.
One of my favorite names he's in the NFL now was Michigan's tight end Jake Butt.
Yeah.
I
remember I had a football card of a guy named Crap Fonzo Ellis. I mean, that's pretty bad. There's a lot of bad ones out there. Why did you see it? Was a guy the Cardinals drafted, I think it might have been just last year, 2021. But coming into the draft, I think we got him in like the middle rounds of the draft. He was always known for just all or nothing. In college, he went to Florida State. His name's Elijah Cabell, and he's at single A right now, Palm Beach. And it's talking about all or nothing. He has 108 at bats this year and has 65 strikeouts. That's a 60% strikeout percentage.
What's his average?
It's like in college, it was like, I looked it up last night. It's like 250. It was like in college. But now I think it's like 170, 180. But I'm just imagining him. He's like 23 years old too. He was a senior out of college. So I'm imagining him at this level. It's like an 80% strikeout percentage.
That's ridiculous.
It's one of the craziest things I've seen in a while.
His idol must be Javier Baez.
Yeah. He's got a massive hole in his swing.
I think one of us could strike him out.
He's a big guy, and I think they were hoping for something, but it's not looking good because there's not a whole lot of 23-year-olds at single A. No. It's all those really young guys, so not good. But
so I got another one. In terms of baseball, Cardinals Cardinals draft picks. So our first round draft pick, Cooper Herpy. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
He in high school threw 3 consecutive
I saw
no-hitters. And the last one was a perfect game where he struck out every batter and he hit 3 home runs in that same
my
game.
Gosh.
That's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
One of you guys sent that the other day, and that's one of the coolest stats I've seen in a long time.
Like that's
insane.
Unbelievable.
I saw they signed him yesterday, officially. I think he's going to be good. I might have talked about it last time, but everybody's saying he could pitch this year for us, which would be kind of crazy because you don't see that very often at all.
In the Cardinals organization, the last 5 of the last 7 pitchers that have been drafted made a MLB debut for the Cardinals within 18 months.
Wow.
Which is like one of the quickest turnarounds.
And McGreevy's probably going to make his debut next year, maybe.
Very soon.
He's in Double A already.
I mean, I know he's kind of far away, but Tink, we've been praising him a little bit. He could be, I mean, he's probably 2 or 3 years away.
Yeah.
But it's not that far.
It's also a cool name, Tink.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's 19 still.
It goes to show how strong our pitching staff has been lately.
Oh, yeah. So
besides the major league level.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about.
That's what I mean.
I was going to talk about more of the home run derby first. But I guess we could do that. You guys want to do that first, the home run derby, and then
Sure.
kind of the Juan Soto. I was thinking we could talk about the Juan Soto thing first because we're talking about prospects.
Well, let's do home run derby,
And
the
then work it
All-Star
down.
game,
Okay,
then
we'll work it down.
Juan Soto.
Yeah, we'll work it down. Home run derby wise, Juan Soto the champ. It surprised me. I mean, I know he's insane as a hitter, but I was expecting Schwarber, Alonso to take over.
Julio just got tired. He went too hard in the first rounds, and then I honestly didn't watch the last round. I got tired. I was like,
yeah.
Albert got out. I was like, I think Albert low key was kind of mad that Schwarber sucked the first round because he was tired.
Yes. Yes. And he also called his timeout. I don't know if you saw it. He called it really early. Which I knew the commentators were talking about how that's kind of an odd strategy, but Schwarber just was could not connect with anything.
Terrible.
Yeah. And like you were saying, Julio put on a show, which Julio's been, and you and I've talked about it, like a superstar in the making all year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody knew what he was about after seeing him there.
Did you see that being runner-up in the home run derby, he made $750K and his season salary is $700,000.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's
Makes
crazy.
more from just the home run derby.
Yeah, you make $1 million if you win. So I'm surprised not.
That's
more
how
people
Pete Alonso was
Yeah.
the first year he won.
That picture of Pete Alonso before where his eyes are closed. I think I say to it is please, Mother Mary, give me strength to win this home run derby.
Yeah, that dude takes it seriously. Holy
He's
cow.
lifting. Do you see him doing squats before?
Yeah. Yep.
He's something else.
The next night was the All-Star game, and
Wait, quick thing about the home run derby.
Yeah.
Did you guys like all the? I feel like I was watching, and I felt like ESPN they're like, let's try to put as many graphics as possible onto the screen. There was the counter at the top, his farthest, his launch angle, his hardest hit ball. One screen's him hitting, one's where the ball's going.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so hard. I kind of like the new timed rule because you it's really close, but you don't get to see where the ball lands that often.
Mm-hmm.
When it's 10 outs, the guys just hit a bomb and you can wait for it to land because they just stand there and watch. This one, it's constantly they're hitting it before the ball even lands.
I agree with that because I remember thinking that when I was watching it, they cut it back before you see it, actually how far it goes. You just see how far it went. They show 440 or whatever.
Yeah.
I also didn't usually I think this last couple of years, if you hit 2 homers over 440, you get extra time. But this year they just gave you extra time.
No, if you hit 1 over 440, you got 30 seconds. If you hit 2, you got a minute extra.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Somehow Albert got 30 seconds extra on his first, and I'm like, there's no way in hell he hit 1 over 440.
I know.
He was scraping the wall.
That's another thing where I think if you just did the outs rule instead of the timer, that because I never knew until the end like how much time they were going to have left.
Mhm.
I was watching it with Hannah, and she was like, "Oh well, he's eliminated," and then I was like, "Yeah, he is." And then of course he gave him like a minute extra, and I'm like, "Where did this even come from?" Like I didn't even know it was possible, but yeah, I get that for sure. The next night was the All-Star game, and there's a couple things that were kind of cool here. Stanton won MVP, which
Stanton's home run. Oh my God. Stanton is like the one player I could watch him hitting home runs for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm bitter because Goldie hit a homer in the first inning, and then they pinch hit for him his next at bat. And I was just, I mean, if let's say he got like an RBI double, I think there was somebody on base. He gets like an RBI double, he's in the MVP conversation for the All-Star game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. But they had Crone and Alonso, and then they added Freddie Freeman. So having so many first basemen and in LA, you knew they were going to.
Also, like whenever they pinch it for Goldie, I thought it would have been, I know Pujols did pinch it, but I think he pinched it against a righty. And they pinched it Freddie against a lefty. I'm like, that would have been perfect time for Albert.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I didn't think about that. I want to mention Helsley too. Helsley hit 103, I think twice in that inning, which was really awesome to see. But my my most fun part of the whole All-Star week was, and I'm not usually a fan of miking up people.
Oh, I love it.
I think it can
awesome.
kind of get.
Yeah, I love it. I think they should do it way more often.
I think it does bring a aspect to the game where fans can like kind of see what it's like almost. I loved Alek Manoah being mic'd up.
Oh yeah,
that was so cool, guys. Like
I at first I was like kind of skeptical because he wasn't saying too much. Then he struck out the first guy and he's like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah, and at the end he was like 3 punchies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I loved when it was just I like that Smoltz was in the booth because like obviously Hall of Fame pitcher, so he's like, or Alex Manoah's like, "What are you thinking here?" And he's like, "Backdoor slider." And Alex Manoah was like, "Ooh, that's sexy. I like it."
Yeah. And then even at the end, I left to go do something, but I heard Liam Hendricks, him being mic'd up. I mean, he's always crazy.
Yeah.
But he was like yelling at Julio to like give him the ball, and Julio was like acting like he was going to throw it out. Yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
They mic'd up. Well, it was kind of cool when they had Garrett Cole and Max Fried mic'd up, because it was just like the broadcasters just stopped talking and they were just like talking to each other, having a conversation about why they like that the NL had the DH.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you go out, you have a inning where you pitch like a bunch of pitches and you're super tired, and then I walk back in the dugout and I'm like, oh crap, I'm leading off.
Also, along with that, do you guys realize Garrett Cole's voice was that high?
He's weird. I never really heard him talk. He's a strange guy.
I haven't either. Got a high pitched voice.
I also liked Nestor Cortez and Jose Trevino mic'd up because they were both mic'd up. So they're literally just like talking to each other, like, "What are you to pitch here?" Because they could hear each other.
I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, and I liked when because Nestor does that thing where he pauses and does like weird movements. Yeah. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over the place, but he even said like it's coming now, like he's gonna do it now, which I thought that was interesting because I didn't know how that worked. Does he do it without Trevino knowing? Does he do it and like? I don't know. I don't like in like if you're not able to talk to him, which obviously you can't. I wonder if you like if he just doesn't know when that's coming, you know.
I also liked back to Alex Manoah. He because Alejandro Kirk was catching him, and at one point he said he's like, "Let me guess and see if I guess what pitch he's gonna put down if I'm right." He's like, "I know Kirk pretty good. I'll get it." He's like, sinker outside, and then he gets a sign and he's like, "Oh nope, I was way off."
yeah he was very entertaining. So let's get on to the home run derby champ. You know, us three have been texting about it nonstop. It seems like these last couple days it's everywhere on social media. Juan Soto has to be traded, right? Like it's an inevitable.
I guess you technically don't have to trade him.
He's under contract for 2 more years.
Yeah. So you don't have to trade him. You would think they would.
Did you see on Twitter about people replying to a post I made about a trade opportunity or a trade proposal?
On what, Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah. So there were some people replying on it about like if it was good or bad, or
I think I saw one guy who was like, "This is the worst trade ever."
It was him. Yeah, I went back and forth with him for a while because
with our account or just like your
with
own?
our account. Yeah.
Oh, AJ.
Yeah, you guys have to check it
You're
out.
not a good arguer.
I was just telling him like none of us really wanted that trade per se, but it was like it's what it'll have to be to get him. But I saw Mark DeRosa, who's on MLB Network now, former Cardinal for a little time spent there. He proposed a trade for Soto, and I don't know if you guys saw it. It's just crazy. Jordan Walker, Liberatore, Wynn, Carlson, and McGreevy, which is just a load. Like, I wouldn't do that.
Is it like I'll probably get like slandered, but I kind of low key think he's a tiny bit overrated. I'll say that.
Especially defensively.
He's a below average defender.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about it, like I don't think we should trade for Soto unless we give up, or I'd be fine trading for Soto but don't give up Walker or Wen or McGreevy. Maybe I don't care that much about McGreevy, but yeah, he's a below average defender. Also, I do think we may be able to get him for cheaper just because the Mets and Yankees are out of the sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we don't want to give our farm systems. And the Padres have been shown to not be interested anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're like more interested in like Ian Happ. So I'm like thinking, who else is in the running? Basically us or maybe the Mariners.
They mentioned the Mariners, yeah. But I will say, if the Padres somehow made that happen, guys, both of you and I would just absolutely be roasting the Padres every single episode. Soto, Machado, and Tatis in the middle of that lineup. Talk about how like just flashy and annoying that would be on a nightly basis to see that.
Also, they have no one else in that lineup.
Very true. Yep. Yeah. Very true. No, I agree. I think Walker is the one guy for me that's off limits. When I get where the hype is, because I mean he's just a freak. Does things that's not normal, but he is known for like more of a defensive shortstop than offensive. I think he's batting like 250. He did really well in single A. He batted like 290 there. But I'm just afraid he's also like 20 years old. It's hard to judge. But I'm afraid he's going to be more of a like, what if he just becomes a 230, 240 hitter with amazing defense compared to I think Walker could be a top 20 player in baseball. I think he has that kind of ability. McGreevy is another guy that has shown in the minors and in college that he's almost ready, like we mentioned at the beginning. But I think really I would have no problem with Gorman going. Would you guys? Gorman and like Liberatore, keep them together. They came up together and were like friends and everything. So keep them together.
Liberatore, he hasn't looked that great.
No. Yeah.
He just looks, I don't know, he's just like so skinny.
He is. Yeah.
I don't know.
He gives me like left-handed Michael Wacha vibes. I don't know if you guys can feel that at all.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Burleson, Yepes, I think really everybody else is available for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to package more than like 4. I don't know. And especially,
but also at the same time, like I don't think we should trade for Soto. I think we should get Frankie Montas or like a reliever because we lost last night to the Reds 9-5. Like if we had Juan Soto, like we may have gotten 6 runs, we still would have lost. Like he's not pitching for us, and maybe his defense sucks. So like they may have gotten 10 runs because he made a bad play in the outfield. So
I
don't think we should give up as much as people like think. Like I don't think he's worth as much as people are saying.
Yeah, we've been bragging about how we feel really confident, all 3 of us, about our position players, and I can't get over it's kind of polarizing, the idea of a superstar like that going. The one that I saw last night that I really don't think will happen, but like Shohei Ohtani's name has been thrown around.
I saw that.
I'd give up Walker for Shohei.
I would too.
Yeah,
he's the one player I'd give up the house for.
He helps our hitting and our pitching. Like he's the one guy that can do that. That's the one that's really like interesting to me. But Soto, in my opinion, I think Soto, like we mentioned, defensively is not not there. But offensively, I think he's the third best player in baseball. I'd put him behind Trout and Ohtani, hitting wise. He's just so good. He's on a 27 game on base percentage, right, or on base streak right now, and he's batting 340 over that time. He's got the second highest on base percentage. I think maybe Conlon said that. He's behind
Goldie
like
is the highest,
like all time before age 23.
Oh, all time.
I should mention that part.
Are you saying best hitter like right now, like this year?
No,
top
no,
three?
No. Not this year.
Okay,
Even though he is starting to turn it on. Because I remember
Also,
we talked
like,
about
how long does that last? It's like, I mean, he's young. He could be trash in 3
Yeah.
years. You just never know. I don't like signing guys to like 15-year contracts. I think that's stupid because the last 8 years are likely you're going to be eating a lot of money.
Very
Mhm.
true. And think about if he has like a season-ending injury, and then we're
Exactly.
watching Walker and them all dominate in Washington.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. I do think he gets traded though, and I think his I don't know how to word it. Not his stock, but I think the package that us or anybody else will have to give them is going to go down as time. Like, I think people are going to start saying no to these crazy packages. I know Patrick Corbin, who has been god awful this year. I think he's got like a 6 ERA. He's 4-13. He's been awful the last couple of years.
Well, he'd be our third starter right now. So
He seems
with
like a
that
Cardinal.
ERA.
He seems like a Cardinal guy, doesn't he? Like,
Or just put him in the bullpen, better than Verhagen or whoever the other guy, McFarland, who's somehow still on the team.
I don't know how he's still here, guys. I have no idea. They called Zach Thompson up again. I saw him last night, but I don't know.
Did someone get sent down?
I don't know who. I didn't even know he was called up. I just saw him pitch, so I don't know who went down or how that went. But yeah, very interesting.
I want Frankie Montas though.
Yeah, let's get to that because Frankie had that tweaked shoulder or something. Remember?
Was it his right shoulder? You're pointing to your left, so just making
right
sure.
Shoulder, yes, the right shoulder. But he pitched 2 days ago and only pitched 3 innings, but he went no hits, 5 strikeouts, and looked dominant. Luis Castillo's the guy that's for the Reds that's been getting even more praise and more like attention. I just have a hard time trading in the division. I have a hard time at seeing us do it.
I heard somewhere that they may be more apt to trade him in the division because of the stupid schedule rule next year where you only play your division, you play everyone twice or something. Like you play every single team. So like I think we'd only play the Cubs like home once and away once next year, which to me is like, why even have a division?
Yeah.
Right. That's stupid.
Interesting. I'm in the boat of we need, like, I don't think from my opinion, I don't think our starting pitching is awful, but we're not winning a World Series with it. That's like not happening. So I'm not against like trying to get 2 guys. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like Tyler Mahle is over there as well, and he's solid. Or like go get Montas, and I know I mentioned Syndergaard before.
Baumgartner, postseason god.
I really don't think the package for Baumgartner is going to be anything. I really don't.
Send him Yepes.
Just Yepes, yeah. Yeppy for Baumgartner straight up. You mentioned Martin Perez for the Rangers. That's another name that I haven't heard him being.
The Rangers are like low key not playing bad though. So
I know. And with the third wild card, everybody thinks they have a chance of making it now. So very interesting. But yeah, the second half started last night. I think the trade deadline's in like 10 days. It's like August 2nd this year.
Yeah, they moved it back because I think they shifted everything back like a week because
the season started late.
Doesn't the A's have like another really good pitcher who's younger?
Blackburn made the All-Star game.
No, he's a reliever though, right? Or is he a starter?
I don't know. I thought he was a starter, but
I swear they had him. Like maybe he was a starter.
Yeah, I can't think of another name they got. I'm usually pretty solid at naming lineups, and I was looking at box scores the other night, and I couldn't name 3 A's for you besides like Laureano and Sean Murphy. I was looking at that lineup and
Montas, boom, 3.
Montas, yeah, there you go. But in that lineup,
come on,
it's a bunch of nobodies in that lineup for sure. But we started last night, the second half of the season, lost 9-5 to the Reds, kind of a dud of a start, right? but it's at the point of season where it's more of a sprint now. Baseball, we always preach about marathons, it being a marathon, but it's getting real now. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it seemed like it has moved so fast this year.
Yeah, I would agree.
I thought I just watched opening day and was crying and all that stuff. But
yeah, they have a guy, Cole Irvin, who has a 3.08 ERA. Montes has 3.16. Paul Blackburn has a 3.62. Paul Blackburn obviously made it because Montes was hurt. I don't know why the Irvin guy didn't get it.
He pitched last night and it was really good.
He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, so it seems like someone we would get.
Like us. Yep. So we can move on to some other trade drama going on. I guess there's no drama anymore. Matthew Tkachuk is officially off the board, I guess you could say. Moving to Florida for Huberdeau, Uyghur, Schwint, I believe. He's a prospect. I think that's how you pronounce it. And a first rounder. Like, holy cow, guys. My demeanor and heart dropped a little bit. I know I was vibing last night, and all of a sudden I see that notification, and yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was vibing last night, but not a good one. How do you guys feel about it? I think it's a load.
I think it's a horrible trade for the Panthers. I think it's terrible. I was looking into it a little more, and if we had to give up that much, I'm glad we didn't get him. And I wonder what like our final offer was if we even made like a package, like a deal with them, or like an offer to them. But for Huberdeau, who led the league in assists, who's like career almost a point a game player, like I think he's like one of the most underrated players in the league. And then Uyghur has been really a solid defender. I mean,
isn't their problem defense? So why would you like get rid of a defenseman and a really good winger for another like winger?
Right. I don't know.
Like, I know he's young, but
for the Flames case, their problem was also defensively. And I know you'll probably get to the Flames side of it, but I think Uyghur is such a good pickup for them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're picking up a big body defenseman. That's, I mean, fairly young. He's like 27, 28, something like that. But I really don't understand the trade on the Panthers like spot. The only thing that like I was thinking about, both Uyghur and Huberdeau have only 1 year left on their contract. And so if they know neither of them are going to re-sign an extension, then it makes a little bit of sense. But the first round draft pick makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
It shocked me because I was reading it and I was driving when I saw it, to be honest. And I saw Huberdeau and I saw a W and I was like, it's probably like Uyghur maybe. And then I was like, like that's a lot. And then I saw the prospect and the first rounder added, and it's just crazy. And
for the turn Flames, that down if you're Calgary.
For the Flames, I thought they were, with Gaudreau leaving and all the Tkachuk drama happening, and I thought he was bound to go. We all knew he was going somewhere. I thought they were maybe just going to kind of start over a little bit and like not be good next year. They got Huberdeau and Uyghur, and then a lot of rumors are like Kadri's involved with Calgary. And you get that, and all of a sudden you could be better than what you were last year. Because like you said, Huberdeau, I think, is so underrated.
I don't know what their cap looks like though right now.
That's true. I don't know either.
I feel like NHL is like the one sport where when I look at stuff, they mention the cap so much because it's not like as big as some of these like other.
Yeah.
Because like MLB, like doing trades, I never really hear about the cap, but NHL is like, oh, you got this cap. Like I follow some like St. Louis Blues page. It's like after this year, you have to re-sign all these people, and you're not going to have to let one of these three go. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm looking at right now that the Flames, the only person that hasn't re-signed with the Flames is Mangiapane, and they'll have to re-sign him. I mean, I would assume they will re-sign him, and then, but right now they have 9.3 million in cap space, so they can still sign a pretty big name.
I just really think, like, do you think Kadri and Huberdeau are as good as like Goudreau and Tkachuk? I think it's pretty close.
No.
Because like Tkachuk had 40 goals, I think 40 even, maybe even more last year. I'm just thinking like the years before that, it was like 24 or 23. I know he's young, so maybe I think the Panthers are hoping he's on the trajectory up, but it could have been just a hot year with Goudreau.
Exactly. And that's like when you're splitting up like that line, it's a lot of it just goes to chemistry.
Yep.
So you gotta play with new guys and figure it out first.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Where do you think the Blues should go now? Do you think we should still try to like trade for someone?
That was my next question. Like, what's our next? Are we just rocking with what we got?
I don't know, man.
There's not. I mean, all the big names are off the board. It's going to be.
Well, we don't have any cap space, so we have
Yeah.
to make a trade.
I don't know who that would even be. Like, I even heard. I think all of us were all in on Tkachuk. Like, that was the only thing on our mind. I can't think of any other guys that would even be available. I'm not against even just rolling with what you got, because you're hoping for improvement from even more from Thomas and even more from Kyrou, which could make up for some. So I know you guys
want to
both.
get rid of Tarasenko. I want to get something for him.
The problem is, where do you get scoring from if you get rid of him?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you get a scorer in return.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in a. The thing with us is that we had like 20 plus scores, so it's one of those things. Maybe collectively you could put it together, but I mean, with Vladdy, he's just one injury away from pretty much being done shoulder wise.
Do we have Brunovich still?
Yeah.
He's re-signed a 1 year. I think.
And that's,
He's pretty
that's
good,
another
right?
thing. That's another thing with Krug is like he's like a mini Krug. So I wonder if Krug, who makes quite a bit of money, I don't know if
I thought he was a winger.
No, he's a defenseman.
No, Buchnevich. That's who I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, we have him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was playing NHL earlier, and
I'm just
yeah. No, Booch honestly was a surprise to me, and that trade's not even talked about enough. That we got Booch for Sammy Blais. I just can't really wrap my head around that one, but
he's 86 overall. He's the third best player on the Blues on the
NHL. I mean, well, we're looking at. I'm just thinking like Shen has to step up big time. He's going to need to be like 25, 30 goal scorer if we're going to win anything. O'Reilly's going to have to be more consistent. I know he scored like 6 goals in the last 4 games of the season to get him to 20, but he's going to have to be more consistent.
Yeah.
And then Barbashev got to like 27 and then didn't score for the last 2-3 months of the season. And then everyone's just got to be more consistent. And it's going to have to we're going to need one guy to really, really step up.
And you were talking about scoring with Vladdy gone possibly. I'm not even thinking about Perron. That's another almost 30 goal scorer.
He was, I think, our second leading scorer.
That's tough. Yeah. I mean, he's another one of those guys. You talked about chemistry with being on the same line. Him and O'Reilly always had that chemistry. Right. I wonder what he's going to be like in Detroit, because he seems like he's getting better as he gets older, but
I think he'll be fine because he scores a lot on the power play.
That's true. He gets on that wing and just snipes it.
Yep, pretty much.
But yeah,
but we have less than $1 million in cap space.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a trade.
Yeah,
this is a really dumb question. I'm just asking where this guy plays because I did a fantasy draft on NHL and he's on my team. Taylor Hall, where does he play at?
Is he a left wing?
Yeah,
or he's a wing. I don't know.
Are
if
you
he's talking?
Right. Are you talking like position or like team?
Team. I know what position he plays.
Boston.
Yeah. Oh God, I may kick him off my team. I didn't know that.
So we didn't have any college football today, right? We talked about it, but we didn't bring anything up.
No, we can think of something for next week. Maybe we can do some like best quarterbacks or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So we can move on to the NFL, our last segment of the day. You want to talk about the Kyler thing a little bit before we move on to the Jets?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Here, I need to pull up how much he made. I forgot.
Yeah.
Murray contract. Well, Kyler Murray signed a gigantic contract.
I know it was 5 years, but I didn't know the money.
It was a lot of money. It was like 160 guaranteed, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals agreed to a 5-year extension worth $230.5 million, including $160 million in guarantees.
That's the load.
So to me, I think he's overpaid.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting for me because didn't he have a lot of drama?
Yeah,
Recently?
he like unfollowed the Cardinals Twitter after the year because he can like after the playoff game because it performed so bad, which like you are probably like 80% to blame for how bad you guys played.
I also have a question for you guys. If you were in Kyler's shoes during, because obviously he was a tremendous baseball player too, drafted in the first round to the A's. What sport would you guys have gone with?
Honestly, if I wasn't drafted by the A's, maybe I would have chose baseball, but
no, I would have chose football.
But his contract right now is like he makes more per like year or something than the A's entire payroll.
Oh my Lord.
You have to go football because it's guaranteed money like right up front. Whereas baseball, you get one injury, and I mean, I guess football's similar. But like baseball, you could just have one like a bad year and just really never get it back.
Well, same with football. You could get like killed by Aaron Donald and like RG3. He tore his ACL and he was like god awful.
Yeah, but how much money did he make? Even with regards to that, if you're a minor league baseball player, you're making like $12,000 a year, and if it doesn't work out, you're just screwed.
Well, Kyler was like the number 1 overall. Wait, he wasn't. No, he was a first round pick. So he would have had like a $3-4 million signing bonus.
But still, would he get paid? What was his first contract in the NFL?
I don't know what the rookie contract was. It's pretty good for the first overall pick.
Yeah.
It makes me think, I think minor leagues is the one thing that stands out to me, is because, I mean, he could have an injury in the minors and not even get there, or, football, you're there right away, which is the one thing that stands out to me. Personally, I'm more of a baseball guy, so I just pick baseball.
I think he would have gotten to the majors pretty quick just because he played however many years in college and
he's versatile.
Pretty good, yeah.
But there's so much like it's so up and down with baseball. You just never know, like if it translates to the next level. Where
same with NFL, like Jamarcus Russell.
But it doesn't matter because you sign a 5-year rookie contract worth $30 million, and then if you're bad, and you might make like, I don't know, like what is Sam Bradford's career earnings?
Yeah, it's very true.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But we can move on to the Jets. I mean, we can make this short and sweet.
It was 125 million was Sam Bradford's career earnings. I just googled that because I was curious, and he was absolute garbage.
Ooh, speaking of how we were talking about minor leaguers, AJ, you skipped over what I put on the doc, but it's fine.
I never pull up the doc. I apologize.
Did you see Rob Manfred's comments about minor league players?
Yes, so, I saw you put it down, so I looked it up.
What do you say?
So Manfred, he was questioned on whether team owners choose not to pay minor leaguers more or can't afford to. And Manfred's response was, I kind of reject the premise of the question that minor league players are not paid a living wage. So, he said we made real strides in the last few years in terms of what minor leaguers are paid, even putting to one side the signing bonuses that many of them have already received. They receive housing, which obviously is another form of compensation. I just reject the premise of the question. I don't know what else to say about that. So in 2001, they raised salaries for minor league players, bumping Class A pay from $290 to $500 per week, Double A $350 to $600, and Triple A $500 to $700. And you only get paid during the season, so that's like equivalent to, if you're not on the 40-man roster, it's equivalent to $4,800 to $14,700 a year to play minor league, only through the season. So like,
and that's still now.
Yeah.
Even like it hasn't been bumped up since then.
They did. MLB did agree to pay like $185 million to settle a lawsuit by minor leaguers. So I don't know how that, if they just split it up evenly between everyone or what.
And he said what they pay for travel and they pay for housing.
They pay for housing, but it's like kind of crappy housing. I think. I don't think it's like.
Yeah.
It's like
wow.
Maybe like your Airbnb.
Oh, this place is nice, dude. I got a two-bedroom place. I'm comfy here. It's awesome. Yeah, that's nothing. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have to get a job like when you're not playing baseball, like, but then you can't, I don't know. There's just a lot. That's not a lot of money.
No, we should have brought that something like that up with Tate when we had him on, kind of his experience with that. I do have, and it's kind of like dropping a bomb on you guys, but there is another baseball opportunity. Andrew Wright pitched at Pacific, drafted by the Cardinals. He's another opportunity for us to interview coming up here. But
Sweet.
the New York Jets, we can make this really short and really sweet here. New York Jets, I haven't 4-13, and that might be generous. They have a really tough schedule looking through it, but what you guys got?
I had him 4-13, but I was looking at their roster. I think they could shock some people and win more games, depending if Zach Wilson like plays better or develops. Because their like roster is not terrible. If I can find it. Okay, fine. Like they have like they have like 4 quality running backs. They signed Brees Hall from Iowa State. Michael Carter last year, really good. He was on my fantasy team. He did pretty good. Tevin Coleman, who's been like super solid, and Ty Johnson, who's been pretty good. And then their wide receiver core is honestly not that bad. Elijah Moore, I believe he was a rookie last year. He played pretty good. Corey Davis, they signed from the Titans, and they drafted Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, who's like insanely good. And they signed CJ Uzuma from the Bengals, which I don't know why the hell he would leave the Bengals, but
yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah, I think he's a good weapon for Zach Wilson. And then also their like defense is not bad either. Like they got Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, CJ Mosley. He's just been solid his whole career. LaMarcus Joyner, Jordan Whitehead from the Bucks. They signed him. And then their draft class was pretty good too. Like they got Sauce Gardner, who didn't allow a touchdown in his whole entire career in college, which is ridiculous to me still.
Where did he go? Do you remember?
Cincinnati.
That's what I was going to say. Okay.
Then they drafted Garrett Wilson. Obviously, they drafted an edge from Florida State who dropped in the draft and is really good. And Brees Hall. So I think they had a really solid draft class. I think they're like, I know Jets fans probably try to look positive every single year, but the future looks a little positive. I'm not a believer in Zach Wilson, but I never thought he should have been drafted number 2. But
before I say my piece here, real quick, Conlon, what was your record? What do you got?
5-12.
5-12. Okay. We had James Dignan on, I guess, 2 months ago now, and he's a diehard Jets fan. And I don't know if he talked about it with us or if I just saw a video of him talking about it. He thinks they can push 500, and that seems very optimistic in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they're pushing 500 yet.
Yeah. But I will agree. It was hard for me to put them at 4-13 because I think they do have the pieces like you're talking about. I'm looking at that schedule that they have, and it's tough. A lot of tough teams, but also division wise, I see a Dolphins team that has improved, especially like with a Tyreek Hill addition. A Patriots team that's always going to be tough, and who am I missing? I'm drawing a blank.
The Bills.
Bills are Super Bowl contenders, so it's just a tough division. But I think they could 5 or 6. I think they could reach that, right?
I think they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like their coach.
You beat all the teams you like that are pretty weak as well, and then you get a few surprise wins, and you can be sitting at 7-8 wins.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think they have a good coach too, Mo
Salah.
Yeah.
No. And the guy
Is
from
Mo Salah? That's the soccer player.
Yeah.
It's something Salah though.
Yeah. Because he came from San Francisco. He was their defensive coordinator.
Oh God, what's his name?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. It is Salah, that's for sure. But no, I just put my final analysis that they're definitely in a rebuild. So they have
Robert
pieces.
Salah. That's what it was.
Yeah. So they definitely have pieces to. I don't know. I think it's kind of like the Lions, right? They could kind of compete a little bit. You agree with that? Like
I think so.
I
think
keep games close instead of being
Salah and Dan Campbell are kind of like similar, like hard-nosed coaches who just get the most out of the player, regardless if they're good or not. Like the Lions didn't have a lot of talent last year, but they played very good they played every game really hard, and a lot of the games were close.
Yeah, I think the Jets could kind of have that type of season as well. But and I think if they were in a weaker division, maybe they would get closer to that 6 or 7 wins. I don't know where they rank. I need to look strength of schedule because I that seems like a loaded schedule to me. I mean,
They play the Seahawks though, so
yeah, there's a dub, right? But no, today was a shorter episode. We'll be back. This is Saturday, so we'll be back early next week with another one. You guys got anything to sign us off with?
Betting lines is 5.5 on over under wins for the Jets. If anyone's curious.
Okay.
Under.
Interesting. Under. I'm with that.
See Goldie's leading odds for MVP, and the Cardinals are at. It depends on like the sports book, but some that they posted, I think they're plus 4,000 for the World Series. Which does that mean when it's 4,000? Does that mean if you bet $1, what do you get? Is it 4,000 or 400?
If you bet $100, you get 4,000.
Okay.
Those are based on 100.
Okay.
Also, do you remember when we were driving to the baseball game, and it was either your mom or Aunt Patty was like asking about futures bets, and I was like, you can put $100 on Goldie to win MVP right now, and if he wins it, you'd get like $3,600 back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have did it back.
That would have been
nice.
a good bet. Yeah.
He had a homer last night.
I like his chances for sure. But we'll be back early next week. Got some interviews hopefully coming soon. And yeah, everybody enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.